Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Sitting with Iron Will Outfitters. Now, who is Iron Will Outfitters? Well, Bill and Dallas Vanderheyden are the creators. Bill's the creator, and he's an engineer, and he's meticulous. And his broadheads are meticulous. His broadheads are world class. There's probably, and I can say this pretty certainly, there's probably not a better broadhead made in the world today. Bill, how did this all come to be?
Yeah, so thanks, Bruce. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've spent several years designing, testing broadheads, and then decided to make my own. So spent a lot of, really tried to use the best engineering practices to come up with the best materials, manufacturing processes, and test them to really make a premium broadhead. And not worry so much about what it would cost, just what are the best materials, what are the best processes to make. And so we use a premium blade steel, 60 Rockwell C, so a very high hardness, so we can get extremely sharp edges, retains an edge well as good impact toughness. So we have vented series. This is like our V100, our original broadheads. It's a two blade with a tanto tip and a bleeder. And then last year we
double beveled.
It's a double bevel, yes. Both the main blade and the bleeder. We also have our solid blade series that we introduced about mid last year, and now we've just come out with a solid blade 100 grain head. That's what we've been asked for a lot, and we've just come out with that as well.
What's the difference between solid blade and I'm going to call it slotted blades? What's the slight difference?
Yeah, the original was vented, and that really flies really well. And it was vented really to get the weight down to where we wanted to for 100 grain. I've just put the vents through it, through structural analysis, just found out where we could add vents and not really affect the blade strength. Still extremely strong blade. And I think vents make it a little more forgiving, a little less likely to plane if the arrows kicking side to side, if you torque your bow too much, things like that. But with our compact design, we found that with the solid blade, it really flies really well also. So, out of a tuned bow, you're going to have no problem getting these to shoot well at long range.
Dallas, what's your role in the outfit?
Yeah, so I'm the social media manager. So
I need you to help me, man.
Yeah. We'll have to get together. Essentially, keeping up to date with everything media-wise, running the Instagram, the Facebook, and so posting every day on Instagram, coming with captions, coming up with new content, taking pictures, really just getting our name out there and keeping present with everything that's going on. Keeping in contact through direct messages on Instagram, making sure that everyone's questions are being answered and concerns are being seen. And so, that's about my role.
Well, Jeff, it just happened to be there, and I was asking if it was any relation to shout out to Tony Bynum, one of the world's best photographers, bar none.
Super talented guy. Yeah.
He just shoots for National Geographic.
Tony and I have yet to figure that out. We need to have a few beers and figure out how we're related, but we're confident there's a cousin lineage.
Anyway, Jeff is a customer of Iron Will Outfitters. Why did you buy their blades?
Well, the story behind Iron Will is what first attracted me to it. They were created for personal use, and I'm not a scientist, but I recognize quality. And when you look at the science that went into these and how they were created, they weren't created under a traditional business model where, okay, we got to get just the right amount of material to make enough profit and sell as many as we can. These are created to be the best broadhead on the market, and there's a lot of celebrity hunters out there that represent broadheads, but at the end of the day, there's a handful of guys that really get the job done, and I respect a lot. And so following those guys like Aaron Schneider, those guys are putting animals down and stand behind these broadheads. And so that's,
you know Aaron?
I haven't spent much time with him, but I know him social media wise. So does everybody else.
Bill, we need to give a shout out for Aaron right now, because he's just fell with your broadheads. As we talked, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Aaron's a great gear guy because he tests a lot of products, and if Aaron's using it, it's good, because he's not taking money from anybody to use it. He's just putting it to the test. And that guy, he hunts all the time. He spends a day in the office and he's back out hunting again somewhere. So yeah, I knew I wanted to get him in his hands and have him try them, and I knew if he thought they were good, that they really were. So he's been using them a lot. Shot a mountain goat with them. Was one of our first kind of well-known people to hunt with him was Aaron.
What about your African success? Because more and more people are going to Africa with longbows or with crossbows or with compounds.
Right.
They need to shoot the heaviest, best, broadhead they can.
We've had a lot of interest from guys going to Africa, and had a lot of, say, kudu, a lot of the big plains game taken. I know of at least one Cape buffalo that was taken with our broadhead, and the guy used the same broadhead too. Then he shot a Cape buffalo and a kudu with the same broadhead, which is pretty cool.
Touch it up at all?
I don't know. He just told me, he just sent me the pictures and said he used the same head. I think he probably did touch it up. But anyway, I had a lot of guys asking me, what broadhead would you recommend for Cape buffalo? And then I really put some thought into it and thought, I don't make it yet. It would be probably our 200, 250 grain, but I'd remove the bleeder just for maximum penetration. So that's one of the ones we just came out with as well, was called the Buff 200 and the Buff 250, where it's our solid blade, but no bleeder. So just going for max penetration. So you really can't beat straight two-blade, extremely sharp edges, and durable, just to get max penetration. I don't think you're going to beat this for getting as far as you can through a big animal. And the Cape buffalo has those overlapping thick ribs, so you've got to break bone to kill one. So I think it'll be a good broadhead for that.
Yeah, historically, two-blade broadheads have killed woolly mammoths, either from a spear or from an arrow.
Right.
Archaeologists will prove that statement. So
yeah, it's funny. Some people will show me old stone broadheads, and the shape of the main blade's pretty similar to ours. And I didn't just come up with that. I tested different broadheads that had, say, longer, more that 3-to-1 aspect ratio blades, and I found out the tips break a lot on those, and they don't fly as well if they're too long. So they got shorter and shorter over time, and added that second angle to the tip, that Tonto tip, to really strengthen them up. But yeah, I think the basic idea of the two-blade has been around for a long time.
Yeah,
sure.
Like thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
So, the idea, the concept, but now Bill's taken the concept and taken it to a level of, and I'll just put it out this, you can't invest enough in a broadhead when you're going after dangerous game, you're going after anything. I don't care if you're going after a whitetail in your back 40. You owe to the animal to take it as ethically as possible, but it's a trip, it's creating memories. And the broadhead cost is so small to your Power Stroke, F-150 4x4 Power Stroke, or your $1,200 Matthews bow. I mean, you start running the numbers, the cost of a bullet that you shoot your bullet out, or your broadhead, is a very small comparison. Your boots cost more than that arrow.
Yeah, and we have a lifetime guarantee as well. So if you do hit a rock, even or shoot through an animal and damage it at all, we replace it. So I think over time you're probably going to save money, because you're not going to go through as many heads. And I used the same broadhead 2 years ago to shoot 2 different elk with the same head. So you can, a lot of times you'll blow through an animal, stick in the dirt, and still be able to shave hair with it. They retain the edge really well. And usually, typically they'll spin true and still shave hair, clean it up, put it right back in your quiver, and keep using it. So.
Now, you mentioned rock roll hardness. Now, do I have to have any special tools to tune them up when I'm in the field?
So we sell like a double-sided sharpening stone that you can use to touch them up. You can sharpen it like you would a knife. So I carry a little stone in the field, and you can touch it up pretty easily with that, with the flat stone. You can also use, back home you can use like a KME or Gatco or Lansky type knife sharpening kit to put an edge back on. But they retain their edge so well. If you're just shooting foam targets, 5 shots in, say, a Reinhardt, and we cannot measure any difference in that edge up to 200x, so up to like 10,000ths of an inch. It has not worn at all. So I tell people, you can shoot every broadhead you want just to make sure it's shooting well or that arrow is shooting well. A couple times in a target, put them right in your quiver and don't worry about it. If you shoot about 100 times in a Reinhardt, you'll start rounding that edge just 1,000ths of an inch or so, which is actually sharper than most broadheads that you buy retail right now. But then just touch up with an extra fine ceramic stone that we sell one of those, a minute or so, and you're shaving hair again as well. So.
Well, you guys, you got a fantastic product, and listeners, check them out. Where do they check you out? Dallas, you want to step in, tell people how to find you guys?
First off, follow us on Instagram to keep up to date with everything. But if you just look up Iron Will Outfitters, ironwilloutfitters.com, and you'll see our whole shop, our whole story, pretty much everything you need to know. If you didn't catch any part of this or you want to hear anything again, our whole story and all our products are there. So, go check us out.
Thanks, Bill. Bill, any last words?
We grew a lot this year. We've got a ton of people using the product and speaking very highly of it. So, go on and search. You'll hear a lot of reviews, and I think people are amazed at how much better a broadhead can be when you use premium materials, extremely sharp. A lot of guys are getting double the penetration they thought they could. So it's something worth giving a try.
This is Bruce Hutchins saying that's another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous live at ATA 2019 with Iron Will Outfitters or Broadheads. Which one do you prefer?
Iron Will Broadheads is the product line.
Right.
Iron Will Outfitters is the company, but let's go with Iron Will Broadheads.
All right. Thanks, folks. We're live here and with Matt Pell, and Matt's going to demo AccuBow.
All right, so this is the AccuBow 2019 app. We've got some all new features. Bow sight customization. I could program my sight anywhere from 0 to 5 pins. If I click on my 5 pin here, I can customize each pin. I could program the yardage of each one that I want. So once I do that, I'll go into the shooting modes. We've got target shooting, Olympic archery, Joad novice, 3-spot Vegas targets, and then as well as 3D target shooting. Elk, bear, turkey, whitetail 3D targets. If I get out of the target shooting mode, I can go into our bow hunting mode. We've got 4 different locations: Western, Midwest, Alaskan, and Australian. Each environment has animals that are specific to that geographic location. So if I open up the Western here, all right, you'll see my animal targets out there. We've got an elk, we've got a pronghorn, and then we've got a mule deer back there. So if I take a shot at the elk, that's at 30 yards. I missed, just high, just over its back. So this is our bow hunting feature. If I get out of bow hunting, something all new for 2019 is bow fishing. So with bow fishing, I can only shoot with either 0 or 1 pin. If I shoot with 1, customize that. Open up the bow fishing mode. It takes a little bit longer to load. Now with bow fishing, just like in real life, you've got to aim underneath the fish, right? Because the distance perception when you're looking at fish on top of the water, they're actually closer than they look. So we'll take a look at that. But the bow fishing, all new, moving fish, swimming targets, or aiming down at the water. If I go back into target shooting, We'll take a look at some of our 3D targets. We've got whitetail. I can load this up. All right, so we've got 3 targets in the target shooting mode, 20, 40, and 60 yards. I've only got a single pin 20-yard sight here, so if I want to change that, I can go into my customized bow sight here, and I could set up a 5-pin, customize those yardages, start shooting with those. We've got, let's see here. So we're just shooting with fingers here. I mean, it comes with the D-loop attachment. If you want to hook up your release and do all that, that's entirely possible. But this is the AccuBow 2019 app. We've got about 15 new game modes as well as bow fishing. So y'all be sure go and download AccuBow 2019. It's on both iOS and Google Play.
Thanks so much, Matt. Welcome to another episode of On the Floor Live at ATA 2019 with your host Bruce Hutchin with Ryan Sned.
Perfect.
From Excalibur. And folks, this is not a paid commercial. I shoot Excalibur simply because I feel, for me, with my 2 pins in my shoulder, it's the best crossbow that I can use. It's the simplest, easiest. I can change my bowstrings in the field. There's nothing this bow can't do for me. My bow shoots at 380 feet per second, and I can go out to 80 yards and stack my shots.
Yep.
So that's for me. There's a lot of bow companies out there, but I'm at Excalibur, so Ryan's going to tell us about Excalibur bow.
Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by. This is our new flagship for this year, the Assassin 420. Lots of cool new features that we've never had before. The biggest for us is the new takedown with quick lock technology here. So if you see that lever, essentially you push one button and the whole bow comes right apart.
How does that work? Show me how that works.
So you just got to apply a little pressure on the stirrup, and then that gets that release mechanism down. Stirrup goes forward like so, and then this pops right off. That
Okay,
easy.
I gotta stop you there because I fly a lot. With
Okay.
my crossbow.
Yep.
And I have a wonderful SKB case.
Yep.
It's bulletproof, but every time I have to take my hex nut, the hex wrench,
Yep.
and unknot it. So basically now, because I don't have a quiver, I keep my arrows in a quiver, but
Yep.
so I got a quiver and I got my scope, and that's it. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah, it's easy. I mean, you can throw this in either our Explorer case, or if you want something a little more robust, like an SKB case, or even like a takedown AR case that you can buy, a hard one. This is perfect. You know, your point of impact doesn't change at all. So you pop that off. You know, when you're ready to get back out there, put it on at a 90 degree, turn it, pop it, away you go.
What a great feature, because that's one thing that, you know, I wrestle with, and I go, ugh. And so once I start hunting, you know, for a month, I never take it down until I start heading home.
Yeah.
And beautiful.
The thing for me that I really love about it, you know, transporting crossbows generally it's a clunky affair. You know what I mean? The cases aren't exactly, you know, the nicest to be putting in the back of your truck and that kind of stuff. They're just bulky and awkward. So now when you can get, you know, a case like this Explorer case right here and fit all your gear just in this little thing, you can put it behind the seat of your truck and away you go. And we'll just put that down here. But so that's just one of the many features on this. Obviously, it's shooting 420 feet per second, so lightning fast. That's with the 350 grain arrow. We also have our trigger that we launched in the Assassin 360 last year, so that's our new.
It's adjustable.
This one isn't. We have in some of our new bows here, and we'll run through that in a little bit, a new adjustable trigger here. It's called the ProShot ACP, so that stands for adjustable custom precision. So you can actually adjust that from a single to a 2-stage trigger. We'll leave that there and talk about that in a bit. But this one is our 2-stage trigger that lots of people really loved with our Assassin that we launched last year. It comes standard with our new Pro Flight arrows, which are .001 straightness, so the tolerances are phenomenal. It takes, you know...
Who makes those for you?
Black Eagle makes them for us, yep. And then we also have our brand new TAC 100 scope. So this is a lighted scope all the way out to 100 yards for the guys that want to practice at the longer distances. So, you know, when it comes down to hunting, distances 20, 30, 40 yards, it's a chip shot. And then, you know, what kind of made the Assassin popular was the adjustability in the stock, completely toolless adjustment with both the butt stock and the cheek piece here. And
that is very helpful.
Exactly. Yeah, it's, you know, you can have one bow and it'll fit your daughter, your grandson, you know, your mom, whoever. One bow fits all. And then what really put the Assassin on the map was the built-in internal crank. So this is the first internal crank that's completely silent on the market, and you know, it makes cocking our crossbows a breeze.
Well, one thing I like about the silence, because when I all day said, I typically don't cock my crossbow, just because I don't, because personally, I don't like to leave my crossbow cocked all day, all night, and then transporting it cocked, so I have to uncock it when I come out.
Well, and that's the beauty with this. You know, it's completely safe to decock it now. We have this fail-safe strap here that you put around your wrist to decock it. So when you are letting it down, if it ever does get away from you, it's not going to swing around and bust your knuckles up. So it's a really great feature. And again, it all just comes down to making these the safest crossbows by far on the market. So we're really happy with it. That's our new flagship, the Assassin 420 takedown, packed with features.
How much does it weigh?
Fully loaded, you're probably close to 10 pounds, give or take, right in that range. But super exciting time for us, lots of new features, and it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like I said, I was going to buy it. Now I have to sell my 380 to step it up.
Okay, well, some of the other ones that I can show you if you'd like. I don't want to pull your stand down. This is the one that I personally am most excited about. We'll clip this back on too.
Why do you sell reticle scopes or like regular scopes rather than the red dot? What's the thinking of that?
Well, it gives you a little more adjustment in terms of being able to shoot out to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and you know, in the case now with our new TAC 100 scope, 100 yards for practice. The red dot with some of our bows that we're coming out with at, you know, up to 440 feet with the new Bulldog 440 that we'll talk about here shortly, you do get laser flat trajectories, so you could almost get away with the red dot pretty darn close out to, you know, call it 40 yards. Your point of impact won't change too much from 20 to 40. And what's nice with that speed is, you know, if you misjudge the distance a little bit, if you got a deer coming in hot and you don't have time to range it, and you think he's 20 yards, but really he's, you know, 35 or 30 yards, you have a little bit more wiggle room with the shot placement there.
Yeah, listeners, I want to throw out, I shoot a Vortex red dot on my Excalibur, and I had it set up for elk hunting.
Yep.
And I didn't change it, I didn't recite it in, but I went whitetail hunting. So I had to hold on the bottom of the deer to put it in the heart. Mm-hmm. And that's like 6-8 inches.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to do that, and I had to remember that. So I don't recommend that. You know, that was my style, and that's what I did. But I think, you know, with what Excalibur has going today, if you stay with their factory setups, you're probably going to be better off.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, we're guys that all love hunting, hunt with our products. You know, before I started working here, I was hunted with an Excalibur for 10 years. And, you know, we're out in the field testing it. So what you see that comes on the bow, it's all been tested by hunters, not people that just design crossbows and, you know, ship it across, you know, the ocean, I guess. But, yeah, we're really proud with everything that we've been doing. This is a bow that I'm most excited about. This is the new Micro 360 Takedown Pro. So this is a dealer-only bow that you can only buy in your local pro shops. You can't actually get it at your box stores, but again, comes fully loaded with a lot of the new features that you saw on the Assassin 420. Comes standard with the TAC 100 scope, reticles going out to 100 yards. It has that new Pro Shot ACP trigger. I'll get this quiver out of the way so you can see it a little bit better here.
Why do you have 4 arrows? Because you only really need 2 or 3 at most.
Well, hopefully 1. Hopefully you're getting it done with the first shot.
One's in the rail. So then you got 2.
Yeah, just a couple extra arrows. You get a little more value out of it. A lot of guys are obviously going to be doing target shooting as well and want to, be able to shoot a few arrows rather than having to walk down every time to go pull them out of the target. But the biggest thing with this, again, takedown technology, makes everything super convenient. Pull that back, lever forward, pop it off just like so. Super easy. I can't stress enough how important it is.
I mean, that's flat out amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? Once you start playing with it, it grows on you really fast. You like it even more and more. And a lot of our marketing collateral and all of our videos and stuff that you see, it shows all the different situations where having a case like that Explorer case and being your bow so small, really shows you, I guess, how easy and convenient it can make crossbow travel. So comes with that trigger that we were talking about. You can adjust that from 1 to 2 stage, and essentially all you have to do, if you see that screw in there, I don't know how well that camera's picking it up, but if you have that screw in, you're going to be a one stage trigger that breaks really clean at 3 pounds. When you take that screw completely out, you're going to have the 2-stage trigger just like what's in the Assassin. So you get that in this bow as well. Comes fully suppressed, so this is actually the quietest crossbow we've ever designed. And that's really all the major features with the 360. Moving on, our next bow.
The cheek piece is different. It's not the same as this.
Yeah, so this is a fixed cheek piece, but it's ambidextrous, so you just take the screws out. If you're left-handed, you can flip it over and put it on the other side.
I really like the flexibility.
Exactly, yeah. So if you want, to have that flexibility to make those changes, you have to be in our Assassin platform of crossbows. But the next one, and again, really exciting for us, is the Bulldog 440. So this is by far...
Because I have the Bulldog 380.
Exactly. So, there we go. This is by far the fastest bow we have ever designed. It comes standard with our Charger EXT with a draw weight of 300 pounds to get that speed, the 440 feet per second.
And the limbs are bigger.
Yep, because again, to get the speed, there's a little bit of a trade-off there, right? If you went down towards your micro limbs that are about 2 inches narrower on either side, the draw weight stacks up exponentially more on those shorter, more stout limbs. But again, similar to the 2 other bows that we just walked you through, comes with the TAC 100 scope to practice out to ranges of 100 yards. Comes standard with our new Pro Flight arrows, which we touched on with the 420, the ones that Black Eagle make for us, with the really, really high tolerances. And then
come with a quick release?
Not this one. So again, you'd have to either be in the micro takedown models, which we have 6 of, and or the 420 Assassin TD. This one, again, it's for your guys that just want speed. 440 feet per second
That's a 100-yard crossbow.
It's going to have the most kinetic energy downrange for sure out of any of the crossbows that we've made.
That crossbow with my 380, I can shoot. I have it, and I probably won't shoot a game, but
practice, yeah.
Practice.
And even with that 380 at 100 yards, you're in the air, you're pulling it out of the target pretty good still there. But this is going to be a lot of your guys that just want the fastest bow that we make. This is going to make them upgrade from their Bulldog 380s like yourself, or the Bulldog 400s that some of the other guys may have got. But it's going to be a really good seller for us. This one retails for $13.99 with the Charger EXT included in that price. So you get everything you see here, pretty much everything you need to hunt other than broadheads, and away you go.
Yeah. Now with the Assassin, does it come with the cocker?
Not a rope cocker, because it has the built-in crank mechanism.
Okay.
Yep, so you don't actually need a rope cocker for that. But you can still, with all of our bows, even whether it has a built-in crank or you are using the rope cocker, you can still do all the great things with Excalibur crossbows that you always could. You know, change the string, decock, all of that in the field without needing a bow press or having to go to your local shop to do it for you.
Because one thing, you know, I've called Excalibur, their customer service is great, is decocking. I'm still, you know, looking for that, and I think the solution is this system here.
Yep.
You know, for decocking my bow.
Exactly.
Now, can I put that on my Bulldog 380?
Yep. So there's actually, if you see, and I'll grab a bow that's a little closer to me so I don't knock this all off again. The back of our bows have 2 holes in them for you to affix this bracket to. Once that bracket's on there, you have that quick release mechanism. That's just a post and it just pops right on, just like so, just like that.
So those holes are already in my matrix.
You got it, exactly. And then to pop it off, all you got to do, pull this little pin, and it slides right off. So it is a true quick release.
Okay, and to cock it, is there a release pin on that?
Yeah, if you want, I can walk you through cocking it, and here I'll stand up.
Let's finish up before we do that.
Okay,
and
sure.
We'll do a separate one on that.
Okay.
Folks, I love Excalibur crossbows because they're simple, they're quiet, and most important to me, they're flat deadly. So Ryan, thank you so much for sharing expertise about Excalibur crossbows.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping by.
Folks, this is Bruce Hutchin back with Ryan Sned at Excalibur, and I wanted to show all my listeners and all the people that follow me on Whitetail Rendezvous just how easy their new cocking mechanism is. He's going to show you 2. The first is...
This is the Charger EXT, so it's similar crank to the one that's built in with our Assassin that we launched last year, except this is a external version. So it pops on and off really easy. We just have a bracket that gets put on with 2 screws here. It takes 5 seconds to do. Pops right on, nothing to it. We have a release button here and a push to cock button. When it's in the release, it works both ways. When it's in the push to cock, it's a one-way bearing, so you can only crank it the one way. So we're going to want to be in the release position. We're going to take our hooks off. We're going to make sure we're down in the groove. Slide the one hook on, slide the other hook on, and then we have our fail-safe strap, which you're going to put on. What this does, it makes decocking your crossbow extremely safe. When you're cranking that back, you don't have to worry about it getting away from you at all. Now, when we start cranking, if we leave it in the release position, again, the bearings work both ways, so that's how you can let it back down. If you're in the push to cock, which is what you're going to want to do when you're cocking this, you can start cranking and stop anywhere, and again, you don't have to worry about it free spooling back on you. And even if it does when you're decocking it and you're in the release position, that's the worst that's going to happen. It's not going to swing around and hit you on the knuckles or anything. So super easy to use. Again, completely ambidextrous, completely quiet. That's one of the biggest things. Nobody likes their crank sounded like a boat winch. But that's our new Charger EXT, which we launched last year. Starting in 2019, we're going to have this model available with several of our bows as a package. You'll end up saving around $80 retail if you buy the crank in with a crossbow package. So it's a good incentive. If you do need a crank, make sure you look out for all of our new packages that we have them included. And then I'll also show you guys how the Charger works with the built-in Assassin.
And just to let you know, folks, Excalibur, Ryan Nordell, Epic Whitetail Habitat, that's pretty sweet for any crossbow hunter. So you heard it live.
There you go. So same deal with this. We have a release and a crank position. When you're in the release, that allows that crank to work both ways. You have to depress your full draw latch and then push on that trigger catch until it clicks all the way down like so. Then you're going to want to engage your safety, which are these big blue oversized knobs. Again, put your fail-safe strap on so that it can't get away from you. completely ambidextrous. If you're left-handed, you slide it in on this side. Right-handed, slide it in on that side. You're going to put it in the crank position so that one-way bearing is engaged, and again, completely silent. You can stop anywhere, and you don't have to worry about that getting away from you. When you're ready to decock it, you're going to enter it into the release position and let it down. And if that ever does slip out of your hands, you don't have to worry about it free spooling and hitting you. So our engineers did a phenomenal job making, the safest, quietest crossbow crank on the market. That's in all of our Assassin models, built right in.
And folks, from a person with experience, I had only one time, and I've owned crossbows for the last 5 years. It got away from it, and I had gloves on.
Cushioned a little bit, but I'm sure it still stung a little.
It woke me up, and I finished it. And there's nothing wrong with Excalibur, but you just have to be aware. Just like anything, you have to be aware. What Excalibur has done is they've taken that completely out of the picture.
Yep.
And so that's awesome. Ryan, anything you want to say before we close?
No, make sure you come by, check out the booth if you're here. We'd love to walk you through all of our new product. Lots of exciting new things between the Assassin 420 takedown, Micro 360 takedown, and the new Bulldog 440 as well. So come by, check us out.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.